All right, Kurt, thank you for having me over yesterday. That took seconds for me to know that you and I were going to get along great. We have a lot in common, which is going to be not only our love for wine, but the harmony of wine and food. And I think a lot of people are missing that.
I do too. I think that we look at them as separate events instead of having the wine integrated with the food. And maybe looking at the wine-food pairing a little bit backwards of what we traditionally do. We tend to want to make a dish, and then we go out and try to find a wine to match it or to pair with it. I kind of look at the wine first, saying, I want to serve a Pinot Noir tonight because it's a beautiful spring afternoon, and it just reminds me of a Pinot Noir. I may pick a Pinot Noir that I really enjoy, and then I'll try to match the menu around it. And then it helps me become a better winemaker because I'm always thinking about what am I going to eat with this stuff while I'm blending it and while I'm creating the vision of the wine in my mind. Knowing what somebody may be sitting down at the table with that wine helps me be a better winemaker.
Can you imagine a European winemaker sitting around and saying, I'm going to make this wine for the ladies to sit around the swimming pool and drink? No way. It is truly about the food. Every dessert wine, sparkling wine, or regular wine, it is truly about the food. Now over here in the New World, there's going to be people that are making wine for the ladies to drink around the swimming pool. But for 2,000 years, they have figured out their food, their spices, their proteins, and their wine, and they've been structuring it that way for all this time. So I really liked our approach yesterday when we had salmon, but we're gonna take the different rubs and the marinade to basically do an A-B of how it's going to work with that wine, which was really fun. And I really like the fact that we took the Grenache that was aged in oak, and it had that that influence, a slight touch of vanilla, maybe some baking spices to a certain degree, but it was somewhat herbaceous as well. And I noticed that when we paired it with the rosemary and Grenache marinade, that it actually showed the spice in this wine. It's almost as if you spiced it up with the food. And then when we used the brown sugar with the Dijon mustard, that brown sugar complemented the bright fruit flavors of the wine at the same time.
Yeah, and the Grenache has proven to be very versatile. At Lawrence Dunham Vineyards, our vineyard's at 5,000 feet elevation, and we get tremendous temperature variation during the day that really is bringing out the spiciness of the Grenache grape. We think the Grenache grape is very versatile. We're calling it the Pinot Noir of the desert.
I love that. I love that.
We're getting the same light fruit. We're getting cherries, pomegranates, strawberries, all kinds of neat flavors coming out of the Grenache. And as the vines get older and get down further into the soils, I think we're going to get even more interesting flavors.
Well, as I become a bigger fan, which is daily, of the Arizona wine industry, I'm noticing that there's something about the terroir, the sense of place that's really being expressed, especially in this Grenache that I had yesterday.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're tasting those things because that's what excited me about the Grenache grape. When we first tasted it, it offers tremendous potential, and we think we've got a great spot for Rhone varietals. Time will tell whether we're right or not, but right now I think we're off to a great start.
So would you say that where the Rhone varietals grow in southern region of France, that it's very similar to what's happening where you're growing your grapes?
Yes, it's temperature-wise, Arizona's a little bit warmer, but the Rhone Valley of France is its warmest growing region, and we have a tremendous amount of rock in the soil because of where we are. And the overall terroir is very rocky. We have great topsoils with interesting characteristics, and we have tremendous water. And we think with that, between the weather and the soils and the water, they all come together to a really magical place to grow grapes. And I think as we look back over the years, we're going to find out that we're pioneering a place in Arizona and a place in the wine world that's really going to take off.
All right, so we had a great experience yesterday, and we were using the cedar plank salmon pairing with the Grenache that was aged in oak. All right, but today we're going to take a cleaner approach. Let's say less of the influence of wood, more of what the Grenache is truly about, which to me it's a sun bunny. It is a great varietal that loves a lot of heat. You also have the benefit of the area that you're growing in, the high elevation of having really hot days and then really cold nights. So we got the hot days to where our sugar levels are rising, which we're going to convert to alcohol, which is what it's all about at the end of the day. But then because of our cold nights, we have the acid levels remaining. So if it gets to the very end of the season, you've got good sugar and good acid, you've got a wine that is asking for less, and just let it be itself, which is this is what that's about, right?
Yeah, we try to keep our hands off of this one. One, we are a new winery, and we're trying to determine what we've got our hands on here. And the only way to do that is to really underhandle and under-manipulate the wines to let the fruit show through. This is mountain fruit. We think it's got the characteristics of mountain fruit from all over the world. And it's a very clean, light and fruity wine that we think is going to go great with all kinds of foods because of the acidity and also because of the big fruit flavors.
Okay, well, I'm excited about this. Yesterday was completely different from this. Let's see what we got here.
All right, let's dig in.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. That's really good. There's nothing wrong with that.
It tastes pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know, the Grenache is going to have just that touch of acidity, and you've got a touch of fat in the salmon, and it's just a perfect balance of yin and yang. The acid is going to cut through the fat a little bit. The fat will settle down the acids in the Grenache, but it is harmonizing. It's perfect.
And it's so simple that anybody can do this. It's a very easy dish to make. It's elegant, it's healthy, and it just flat tastes good.
And you said Grenache being the Pinot Noir of the desert. My favorite pairing with salmon usually is going to be a Pinot Noir, but you have just re-educated me on the Grenache and how it's going to work with salmon. I actually found your website before I met you, which I thought was pretty cool, just days before it. Then we have an introduction. I noticed that there were some recipes on there. I glanced at them. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, David, we've got a bunch of original recipes that my wife and I have created over the years, and never realizing we would be actually making wine at some point. But we found that those recipes have helped us make some wines that are very compatible with them. So we invite people to go to LawrenceDunhamVineyards.com and check out the website, and also check out the recipes, because there's some fun things on there, a lot of Arizona inspired dishes that go great with Arizona wines, not just ours, but all the Arizona wines. And we invite people to go see that.
So these are original recipes of yours and your wife's, and it's also your wine that you've structured for those recipes.
A lot of them we have. Now there's a lot of recipes there that may go better with a Riesling or some other kind of grape that we don't grow, and those are in there as well. We're making recommendations of all kinds of grapes from all over the world on the website.
Well, I like it as the perspective of a winemaker in food, opposed to a chef in wine. So I like that. All right, so how would they find your website?
It's LawrenceDunhamVineyards.com, and we invite everybody to take a look.
All right. I think we should do a little bit more testing to make sure that we got this right.
I think great idea.
Cheers.
Same to you.
All right.
To learn more about Lawrence Dunham Vineyards, today's meal and wine pairings, and how you can get more involved with Arizona's wine community, visit us at finewineanddesign.com. I'm Denise Teichert, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Fine Wine and Design.